The Healthy Brains and Behavior Study is a cross-disciplinary project designed to examine the influence of biological and environmental risk factors for violent behavior. The data were collected from a subsample of 46 violent offenders who provided testimonials about what early life factors they believe contributed to their aggressive behavior. The testimonials are accompanied by data from fMRI scans of these offenders when presented with a series of violent and stressful images. It is our hope that the presentation of offender testimonials and neuroscience data will help begin to uncover reliable and treatable biological and environmental risk factors for violence. Before participants were placed into scanners, several agreed to be interviewed by staff. Participants were asked to describe their upbringing and the quality of relationships with their mother, father, and/or caregiver.
When I was young, around 5 or 6, I remember hearing something that sounded like a firecracker at night. I asked my parents what it was, and they responded, "Don't worry about it." There were several nights that I couldn't sleep because, the sound got louder and louder. I figured out it was gunshots. It didn't help that my father was a mean drunk and liked to take it out on us late at night after coming home. These experiences of growing up in my neighborhood stay with me. I don't know if it was from facing my dad when he was an angry person or what, but from a young age I can remember starting to act like him. Angry most of the time, short temper, ready to throw down whenever and wherever. I don't know, maybe it was my sleep too.
Early life trauma and stress has been shown to increase the likelihood of an imbalance between frontal lobe and limbic system functioning. The frontal lobe is critical to decision making, while the limbic system is responsible for generating emotions. Studies suggest that exposure to high levels of stress may lead children to consistently use their limbic system to cope with these negative experiences, thus making it more difficult to use the frontal lobe later in life when it matures. An overactive limbic system and underactive frontal lobe has been shown to increase the likelihood of impulsive, violent behavior.
Yeah, I've taken a few knocks on my head. This one time when I was young, I got into a little scuffle at school and blacked out. I learned later that this little punk hit me in the head with a textbook, like one of those thick ones. I woke up in the hospital. Man, I was pissed. I don't know if it was me just being pissed off or the knock on the head, but for a little while after that, I was on edge. I was really tough. I know how to handle myself, but I remember not being able to think at school or really talk with my friends for a while. My mind was mush. After that incident, I made sure to return the favor. I got expelled for that. In that situation, there ain't no value in overthinking stuff. You just gotta respond. 4 years later, I was charged and convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Brain injury at a young age has been associated with aggressive behavior and anxiety. Studies are also beginning to indicate that blunt head trauma experienced early in life may stunt healthy neurological growth in regions of the brain located near the forehead, where most head injuries occur, such as the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is instrumental to emotion regulation and rational choice decision-making. Abnormal functioning in the prefrontal cortex and overactive functioning in the limbic system leads individuals to make decisions based more on emotion than reflective reasoning. We see this in data from the fMRI scans of participants where oxygenated blood is found to flow more away from the prefrontal cortex into the limbic region when exposed to a series of violent images. Notably, the proportion of blood flow to the limbic system is substantially higher in this group of individuals compared to a matched sample of individuals based on age, race, and sex.
I've always had a tough time focusing on stuff. School was a joke. I had no interest in reading those books. Now I appreciate it more, but I can really only focus on something maybe 30 or 40 minutes. I get itchy after that, like I have to walk around or something. Sitting still was never my thing. I used to play sports, football. Couldn't remember those plays for anything. I guess it's just the way I'm wired, right? Besides, overthinking stuff doesn't get you the respect you need where I come from. Better to face disrespect with action rather than sit back, think about it, and let someone walk all over you. If you let that happen, it's all over.
The participant describes their inability to focus on things for a long period of time. This problem has been shown to correlate with a lack of environmental cognitive stimulation at a young age, as well as psychiatric problems such as attention deficit disorder. Both issues have been associated with abnormal patterns of functionality in regions of the prefrontal cortex. We would like to thank Baylor College of Medicine and the University of Texas Medical Branch for allowing us to access the data for this presentation. Funding for this video was provided by a 2020 Eureka FAST Award from Sam Houston State University.